Okay, welcome everyone. We are here again doing some leadership stuff and just want to chat to you about your leadership growth plan for the next 12 months. So being near the end of a calendar year, coming into a new year, it's a good idea to review how we're going and how we're going to grow and what it's going to get us there. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions today, and I want you to seriously take these questions and then do something with them, and maybe this can help you grow your leaders when you ask them their 5 questions. So let's multiply this little exercise across our leadership teams so that we can get things growing. So one of the biggest paradigm shift I want to just mention up front is the idea of understanding the difference between ministry and leadership. This is a really big one. This whole phrase for me was coined by Dr. Ian Jagelman in his book, The L Factor, when he talks about leadership. And he was the one that introduced me to the concept of leadership versus ministry. So most people think when they're in the ministry, they're in leadership, or if they're in leadership, they're in ministry, but there's a very big difference. And if you have to understand that, and then when you do understand it, if you really want to grow leaders and grow your own leadership, you actually have to figure out the difference in your calendar, and you have to then diary it in. So if we ask you all the things that you do with your time and it all adds up to ministry, then you're not growing your leadership. So let me give you what ministry is, and let me give you what leadership is, so you can get some help on understanding this plan. So ministry meets the needs of people. So if we are praying for the sick, if we're visiting, if we're counseling, even preaching to a degree, although it's got a bit of both in it, is about meeting the needs of people, or the church, if you like. Leadership grows an organization. So a difference might be, let's go to a really practical way. A car mechanic fixes cars. So to do the work of the ministry, or to do the practical thing, would be he just fixes cars. But that's not going to grow his business. Our leader grows the business, so the manager grows the business. So he would be doing rosters and run sheets, making decisions, solving problems, the difficult customers. He would be hiring and firing the staff. That's a leader. So the leader builds the organization, and the minister meets the needs of the people. In a business, if you're doing the work of the ministry or the practical side, you're actually just meeting the needs of the customer, but the leader is growing the organization. So if we want to grow our churches, we actually have to understand leadership. So leadership, sometimes when we figure it all out, people amazingly who are pastors and leaders have come to the idea, when you give them what the leadership list is, they say, I don't like leadership. Because leadership is decision making, leadership is planning, leadership is conflict resolution, making the hard decisions. It's all that stuff. It's a lot of administration as well. But ministry is out there with the people. It's having cups of tea with people. It's talking. It's praying, visiting, counselling, caring. All those things. So then they go, well, that's what I love. I love going visiting the sick. I love visiting people in their homes. I love encouraging people. I love going hanging out and just building up the people. Great. That's ministry, not leadership. So leadership builds the church, the organization. So here we go. Now we understand the difference. Write down everything you do in your week. On one side, draw a line down the middle of the page. Write ministry on one side. Write down all things you do, and then you write leadership on the other. And see if you write down everything that you do, and then put them in either one column or the other. And then see how much leadership you're actually doing. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. How are you going personally? So, with your family, with your health. All right, so this is just the first question. Because if you're not going so well, it's pretty hard to map out a great plan. So let's get healthy first. Let's get back to some seeking the Lord, our daily devotionals, praying, finding time for you and God. How are you going personally? Let's get our health right. Let's get our head right. Let's get our heart right. If any of those things are out, let's fix them. Question number 2, how is your relationship with Jesus? You can expect what you can inspect. It's a great little thought, isn't it? So, you can only have a great expectation if there's a sense that we can inspect that your relationship with Jesus. If there's no relationship with Jesus, there's not much great expectation happening around your ministry. So out of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest and 1 being the lowest, how is your relationship with Jesus? Give yourself a score. All right. Let me ask you another question on this. Question number 2. Are you hearing from God every day? A great way to do that is journal. So as you do your daily Bible reading, write what you think God is saying from the scripture. It's a great way to do. So question number 3, how are you growing? This is your personal development now and going forward. So here's some little mini questions amongst this bigger question. Who are the 2 people who are mentoring with you that are ahead of you in the field that you're meeting and speaking with regularly? Give me 2 names. If you haven't got them, you need to get them. What are you reading and what are you studying? There should be something. There should be some books that you've laid out that are on a list and you're working your way through them. Devise a 12-month plan, a reading plan. Read one on ministry and one on leadership if you want to develop both. Fasting, praying, seeking God, breaking through in His presence. That's ministry stuff. Leadership would be more like, how am I growing my team? How am I growing my vision? How am I developing leaders around me? Focusing on leadership development for others. Who are you going to meet in the next 12 months that you haven't already met, that you'd like to, because they are ahead of you in leadership, or you want to ask them some questions? Surely you can come up with a few names, narrow it down to 1, and make it happen. Make it happen at a conference, make it happen with a phone call, make it happen. All right, so that is question number 3. Question number 4, what are you building? What are you building? So 50% of your time should be spent on leadership, not ministry. So now this is where you get your calendar out, and this is where you go, if all I'm doing is writing sermons and visiting people and running my life group and writing lessons for my life group and then doing all those things, you're just doing the work of the ministry. If you're just doing music practice for Sunday, if you're doing a whole lot of stuff, administration stuff for Sunday, but you're not really developing any people, then it's all ministry. So, leadership, decision making, planning, meeting with other leaders and raising them up, helping them develop a leadership plan for them, and again, diary it in. What are you doing? Here we go with team. What are you doing to grow your numbers? And what are you doing to build your culture? Because that's all leadership. All right, so that's what you want to be focusing on in some of the stuff. So what are you building? How are you going to get there? I'm building my church. I'm growing my team. Okay, who are your leaders? Who's your 2IC? Who's the 3IC that's one day going to be the 2IC, because the 2IC is going to take over because you're going to move on to some other things and you're going to continue to develop leaders. And how are you going to teach them to teach others? And so, again, all these things. And question number 5, what do you need? What do you need that you don't have? From your leaders, to be a resource, to do what you need them to do. So what do you need? And it's not what you need for you, it's what you need from your leaders, and it's actually how you're going to get them there. What do you need your leaders to do for you? So then you can focus in on that. Write those things down. Raise up those people. Make it that your focus. Diary it into your week and make it happen. So there you go. Some couple of 5 simple questions on how you are growing as a leader. You're doing just a little bit of an analysis and a little bit of a checkup on your own life, on how much you're doing, and then focusing on how you can refocus the camera to get leadership development happening for you and for others. So there you go. Let's raise some great leaders. God bless you. Have a great day.